Some of you may be wondering how we actually test our releases, especially in the design stages of our release. How it actually gets to your package. This is one of the machines that does that. We actually can test 4 different stations here. This bottom one is actually a spring tension release, or spring tension durability test. This one here actually tests the durability of the strap, the fold back ring, as well as the mechanical parts of the release itself. It can also test how many shots it can be shot at before it fails. This release here actually tests the rotation of the release, the firing of the trigger itself, as well as this one does the same thing, but in the handheld version. We can get this release going, or the tester going, and we can actually see how it works. Now you'll see at station 1 on the bottom there, we're actually testing the trigger tension spring, or the trigger reset spring, to make sure we can fire that actually up to like 80,000 times a day, and actually shows the durability of the spring itself, make sure that it's going to last for when you take it out of your package, and make sure it's going to shoot well and consistent and continually for you. At the second station, we're actually testing the strength of the strap, the durability of the fold back ring, as well as the mechanical aspects of the release itself, the jaws, the trigger, make sure everything is going to hold up under pressure. We can actually turn this machine up to 300 pounds if we wish. We generally turn it up to 200 pounds to make sure it's going to hold there, and to see where it does, and if it has any kind of failure rate at that point. And that's where we get that bullet point on your packaging. The third station is showing actually the rotation of the release, of the head of the release, and as well as the firing of the trigger. We can again run this through several cycles a day, up to like 15 to 20,000 cycles a day, so it's really easy for us to get at least 50,000 cycles in a week's time. We actually find out the durability of all the aspects in the head of the release, the jaws, the jaw spring for example, the trigger spring, reset spring. In the fourth station you'll see that we have a handheld version of our release up there getting tested for the head rotation, the firing of the trigger, and again it just tests the overall durability and firing of the release as is used in a shooting situation. Each one of these stations can be counted, has a counter on it, so it records exactly how many shots are being fired, and if it does fail, we'll know exactly how many shots it took for it to fail. And also we can turn out each one of the air pressure up to simulate certain pounds. We can simulate a 70-pound bow. We can turn it all the way up to 200 pounds to see what kind of durability it'll actually handle. This is another one of our release testing machines. This fixture here can actually test a release. Say if I set a trigger tension at a certain setting, I can actually test to see whether or not it'll hold. By this I can actually turn this up to 200 pounds if I wish, but right now it's set at 100 pounds, and by simply flipping this switch I can see if it holds at 100 pounds. It's just a simple device to see. I can actually adjust each release and see if it will hold at that setting. Here's another fixture. This fixture can actually show whether or not the jaw or jaws, in the case of our releases, actually wear through a string loop. By simply putting this on the string loop, putting pressure on it, we can actually turn it up to 70 pounds, 100 pounds, actually 200 pounds if we wish. You can actually fire it each time and see whether or not it's going to wear on a string loop or not. It's just another simple fixture we have for testing releases and make sure that when you get it in your package, it's going to work correctly. When the mechanical testing devices aren't enough, we have a 20-yard indoor range.